What's good, YouTube? It's Rage Real. So today's video, I want to show you guys one of the most underutilized defenses in Madden 23. So if you enjoyed this video, go and drop a like on the video right now. Go ahead and sub and turn on post notifications on. So the reason why I say underutilized is because you really don't see this defense as much right now. But I want to show you guys why this defense will eventually be the meta defense again in Madden 23. Now this defense has been good for an extremely long time. So some of this stuff is going to be new, but they also added some really great plays that's going to make this formation a whole lot better, and you'll see why exactly I said this will be most likely one of the meta defenses in Madden 23. But first and foremost, I am in the Dolphins defensive playbook. Again, I'm in the Dolphins defensive playbook. And before we go any further, I just want to introduce you guys to my ebook website. All things Madden will be the future for the Madden community. This is so much more than your standard ebook website. This website right here is designed for everything that you love to do in Madden. We know you love tournaments. We know you love to play CFLs. We have money CFLs. We have free CFLs. We even give you reward points for shopping on our website. There's also an amazing feature that we put on there called Request an Ebook. Now, this is the exact process that you'll go through when you actually check out, and we also offer a number of payments. So go ahead and head over to allthingsmadden.com to see what all the hype is about. Alright, so I'm not sure if I'll actually make an ebook out of 245 double A gap, aka 24 double mug. But if you'd like an ebook on this formation, please make sure you do request it if it's not already available. So the way the ebooks will work, essentially I'll break down everything into detail about why I like my setups, and I'll show you how it fares versus other meta formations, such as, like, you know, trips tight end, your gun bunches, you know, basically whatever playbook I pick for the ebook. I'll kind of break down, you know, how to kind of set up certain adjustments and stop certain things. So anyways, without further ado, I really want to get right into this video. So the most important thing when it comes to this defense is personnel. So it's a little bit different than most defenses. So in this particular defense, you're typically going to be using a safety. Now, at least the way I run it, you use your safety, but I also tell you and show you that you can use your linebacker if you'd like to, but it's not the most effective way. So really at safety, what you need in these two positions is speed. I would highly recommend you put speed. Tackling is not as important, but you really want to have speed right here. So that's why I have this guy who has 91 speed and he has 90 speed. Now, right here in these two positions, you really want to put safeties. The speed does not really matter. Now, let me say that the speed doesn't really matter. So I like to normally put my two starting safeties, like the starting backup safeties. Speed isn't a factor, but you really want to look at the you want to look at the tackling and block shed. Those are really important because we're going to be asking a lot out of these two guys right here when they start trying to run the ball. Now, on the end positions, I like to put my starting two middle linebackers, aka your best middle linebackers you have that are the fastest. That's really important. So he has like 91 speed. Jerome Baker has 89 speed or 88, one of those two. But you really want to put somebody, a linebacker, that's pretty fast, and it's good when you start playing other coverages. You can do certain things. You're gonna be putting those guys as spies, and also where 91 is and 94, you want to put your two best pass rushers. So that's why I do have ends right here, because those are my two best pass rushers. So of course, in the slot, you want to put your fastest slot corner or your best coverage slot corner. It's up to you. And then of course speed all the way around. So that's as far as personnel goes. Now next thing I want to talk about is audibles. So for my audibles, I love having cover one hold, which comes naturally. Now I really love this nickel 2 trap, and I like to actually add 2 invert hard flat. So those might sound unfamiliar if you haven't looked at nickel 245 double A gap this year. They actually added those two, if I'm not mistaken, so because I don't remember seeing them last year. So let's take a look at the first one. So 2 invert hard flat is just your cornerback playing a deep outside instead of your safety. And then also it's the same thing for nickel 2 trap, except we're gonna have a purple by our safety, and then we're actually going to be able to blitz our slot corner. This already comes stock with him blitzing. Now what I love to do is set a standard zone drop when I run this defense. So my standard zone drop is putting my flats at 15 and then putting my curl flats at 5. Now sometimes I'll start off at 20, sometimes I'll start off at 15, because not every route gets ran at 20 or 25. Those are usually just your crosser routes, so it really depends on formation. That's kind of what I'll talk about in the ebook, but for the most part I love to stay at 15 at first and then have 5. but sometimes I will start off at 20. It just depends on what they run, like I said. So for now, I'll leave it at 15. And normally I don't like to touch the hook zones unless they make me, so I like 15 and 5. So that's what I love to start off with whenever I run 2-4-5 double A gap. So next thing I want to do is actually go here, and then we're going to come out in mid blitz, because I love to come out in mid blitz. Now for offense, we'll just take a look at a random formation that's meta. So yeah, we'll do a wide off trips pass this time, and we'll come out where everybody's going on a route first, and then I'll start talking about different plays if we have enough time, because I don't want to make this video extremely long, because the plays doesn't matter. It's the setups that are really important. So when you start off, normally I love to find the safety that the running back is manned up, well, that's manned up to the running back. That's the one you normally want to find when you do everything. And if you want to always make sure you have your auto align on, to where your players are going to line up where they're supposed to. So I found the safety that's on the running back side. Now technically you can run it just like this, but some things I like to do is actually spread my defensive line, and then I like to blitz my user, and I like to stand in this gap right here. Now it's not necessary, you don't have to actually stand in the gap if you don't want to. So the reason why is because if they're going to send out the running back and the tight end, they're not blocking their running back, then they're only blocking 5 people. So if we send 6 at them, we don't have to hover anything. So I'm going to go and show you. So what I'm going to do is back my safety up, and I'm just going to stand right here, and we're going to get somebody coming in free. Now, like I said, that's because they sent their running back out on a route, you know. So there's 2 ways you can do this. So the only way you should ever try to find a gap and stand in it is if they are max protecting. And if they are max protecting, then really it's going to be a dub for us if they're max protected. So let me show you. That's the only time you want to touch somebody if they're max proing. But normally you're going to get some type of shed if they're max proing. So normally I only love to hover if I feel like they're blocking that running back, because sometimes that does make a difference, which I'll show you here. So let's say they block their running back, which I'll show you real quick. We are blocking the running back. Now if I know they're blocking him, then I'm going to just stand in this gap, and then I'm actually going to touch the tackle. We're going to go, and then we're going to get a free man coming in. So that's in essence why people like 2-4-5 double A gap. Now some people, you technically can use one of these safeties at linebacker if you want, and we're going to get the same effect as long as they are blocking, not blocking that running back. So you can tell exactly what I'm talking about right there. So the difference. So you might be wondering, okay, well, which one would you rather use? Would you rather use our linebacker, or would you rather use our safety? So me personally, I love the user to safety. And the reason why is because we don't have to hover a gap. So if they run the ball, we can actually follow the path of the running back. So I'm gonna go to halfback power right here, and all we're gonna do is just follow the path of the running back, and we're gonna try to cut off the lane. And yes, 2-4-5 double A gap, you can be a little weak in the run, but there's things you can do. So for example, I always love to spread my line, so that way we have some help coming on the outside. Now normally I don't like the quarterback contain, but you definitely can if you want, but sometimes you just don't get the best animations when you quarterback contain. But like I said, it all just depends on you, man. We'll talk about that here in a second. But you can tell when we actually slant our defensive line, well, spread our defensive line, excuse me, we're actually able to get better lanes. So now next thing I want to show you is you don't have to leave the linebackers in the gap if you don't want to, but personally I suggest it. But if you ever want your linebackers to get out of the gap, all you have to do is spread them. So you hit right on the directional pad and then up to spread. So notice when we spread our linebackers, the only thing that happens is they move outside the gap. But the problem with that is that you can't really get them back. Well, yes you can. You just pinch them and they'll come back. So you can spread to get them out the gap, but if you decide, hey, I actually want them to be in the gap, you can just pinch them and they'll go back. So you can actually play around with that if you want to. So next thing I want to talk about, which probably be the last thing since this video is getting a little too long, that I like, is coverage shells. So as far as coverage shells goes, let's start off with just 2 invert hard flat. Now of course you technically can just run your standard cover 3 if you'd like to, obviously, which I'm not going to touch on because it's literally just cover 3 with zone drops, obviously. But as far as cover shells goes, I love this cover 2 invert hard flat. So this is nice because normally they're not going to be like this. They're only like this because of cover 3, which I'll go ahead and snap it and just throw the ball out here, because it really won't be like that unless you audible to cover 3 then cover 2 invert in that case, because the safety is not going to line up like that. So it's good because if we go to another formation, not formation, we go to another coverage like 2 invert hard flat, Notice nothing really changes other than that safety. Now we can press, and the good thing is when you press, they're automatically going to go outside. You seen that safety go outside, so to opponent it still may be looking like we're blitzing, playing man coverage. So that's why I really love to do it that way. Now one thing I do like to do is actually back up that deep half, so that way he can actually get out there. So few cover shells that I like that I'll mention real quick is a lot of times I like to take square and actually put him in a purple. So if I'm playing this play, I normally like to do a max pro coverage. So what that means is I won't really blitz. So I'll actually take that linebacker right here, X, and put him in the middle third. Now if you're scared because he's a little slow, so if you put somebody slow, what you can do is actually just stand right here. You can take your user, you can actually put this guy in the inside third. You could blitz this guy, you can actually hover the gap like you're in there. Or if you're scared of getting gassed on a run like this, because you will get gassed with this particular setup, you could just take that guy out of the gap if you like to. You could definitely do it this way. Now next thing I'll do is I'll put a spy on the field. So whoever my fastest guy is, you want to put at whoever you have at end at linebacker, you could put him in a spy. So in this case, I'm gonna use squares just because he has 90 something speed. And you could do it this way. Now we're gonna be rushing 3 people, and we're playing basically a zone drop style of defense. So this is definitely one of those viable ways that I like. So you know, it kind of messes with your opponent's head. You know, we're coming here, we're lurking, we're looking, and you know, technically everything's bagged with that particular play. So that deep half is really clutch, to be honest with you. It's one of them really slept on things. And actually there's a lot you can do out of coverages. Honestly, I could spend a lot of time talking about different coverage shells you can play, different things you can do, and the reason why is because these linebackers with square and X, we can man them up to anybody that we want. Notice X, we can man him up to anybody we want. Notice our defensive ends that are at our linebackers that are defensive ends, technically we can man them up to the running back, or I can man him up to the tight end, or I can man up this other linebacker that's to the trip side. I can man him up to, you know, the same people. So it just gives us a little flexibility in what we want to do, and that's why I just really like this offense. So, or defense, excuse me. So next thing I want to talk about will pretty much be the last thing, is I like to press. I always like to press, and what's good is that if you want to have a deeper zone drop with your clouds, you can do that. So keep in mind, this guy is not going to press Devontae Adams. He's not going to press him. So we'll actually take circle and put him on a streak real quick, just so you can kind of see. So just keep that in mind. That notice how he's not going to press him. So you can potentially give that up. So if you don't want to give that up, just back that cornerback off, or slide your safety outside. I mean, that's your standard cover 2 rules. You know, so just use that as your discretion. So we'll go back to nickel trap 2, and I'll show you why I like it again. But anyways, you could take them individually, back them off if you're good enough to do it real quick, or you can just grab this guy real quick and just slide him out. But keep in mind, when you slide that guy out, you're pretty much giving away that you're running cover 2. So I would suggest making sure you put somebody in the middle third, or you can actually just go play the middle third yourself. So you know, there's a lot of options there. And also, one of the setups I do like too is actually blitzing this guy. I like to disguise it a little bit more. We'll back that cornerback off, and I like to disguise because I'm real big on disguising. So I'll actually take square, put him out there. Now remember, with this setup, we're actually blitzing 1 2 3 4 5 6, so we actually don't need to hover a gap with this particular setup. So we're literally responsible for the middle. So I can actually, you know, right now I can go cover something. Okay, what do I see? Okay, cool. And then a lot of times that will happen too, where you get something glitchy. So that's why I don't like quarterback containing, because it seems like you get a lot of more glitchy stuff when you actually don't quarterback contain. So notice how we don't even hover no gap, but what happens here, they have a pass off logic because they're blitzing from both sides, and also because of the placement of our D tackles. So that's why you don't have to slide the line every time, honestly. It just helps every now and again, depending on what formation they're in. So notice how, like I said, they kind of dumb out right here. That doesn't happen every time, honestly, but this is all Madden practice mode, so it can happen on all Madden games, but just don't look for this to happen literally every time. You know, it just happens every so often, and it's nice when it does, which is good because we have our fastest linebacker here, you know, one of our fastest linebackers here, and also we get somebody screaming off the edge. So you know, you can kind of tell this is why I like him. Like I said, right here, we back that cornerback off, so maybe we can have some help. Notice how he sits right here. That's why I said I like him at 15, because they actually just play a lot of stuff well. So just notice how much he plays right here. So he's going to play this, and he actually still has a chance to come back and actually make a play on this. He won't pick it or nothing, but he can make a play on it. And right here, obviously, is just the thing you have to watch out for is you know, the deep middle, because we don't have anybody. So it's one of the more high scale blitzes, you know. So if you're feeling really high scale, which is the last thing I'll talk to you about here. So if you're feeling really risky, what you can do if you wanted to guarantee pressure, you technically could just run something like this, we're actually going to send out, basically we're going to send 7 at this point, and we're going to back that guy off. Now this is I don't know, this is one of those risky ones because we're giving up a lot, but we're banking on the fact of being able to stop him. So this would be like a good like 3rd down blitz. You're just basically gonna be careful about R1 with the streak at that point. That's normally where I like to go. If they want to throw the running back route, you'll give it up. But like I said, that's just a super risky one, as right there, you know, we get about 2 or 3 people free. So like I said, it just depends, man. It depends on how risky you want to be with the user. You could definitely do something safe. Last thing I'll talk about is man coverage, because of course I like to call cover 1 hold sometimes. And if I call this, what I like to normally do is actually I actually like to blitz my guy right here, and normally I'll take one of the linebackers that's in a 3 rec, and I'll actually put him on the tight end. So basically we're playing like a cover 1 with the true man high, you know, safety. Ugh, I can't talk. We're playing a true man coverage with 1 high, basically, and with shade over the top. And this is good if they're sending everybody out, because sometimes we can get something glitchy where somebody comes free, or we get a good block shed. So it just gives you a little bit more of a safety net for man coverage. Now, absolutely last thing I'll mention too is if you're feeling really, you know, risky, something I like to do too is shade over the top with this man coverage right here, and I'll take circle, put him in a cloud, man up L1 like this, and I'll back that guy off. And this is if I'm feeling risky. I'll do something like this. Now if they give me enough time, then I'll actually man up the linebacker to X, that 3 rec. But if I don't have enough time, let's say they quick snap me or something, then I'll actually just go guard X myself, if that makes sense, because maybe I didn't get enough. So I'll come here, you know, just kind of pass it off to him, and now we're just looking for something to play at that point. So those are just different cover shows I like. Now if you want more advanced to where I break it down even further and show you different how it fares versus meta concepts and things, that's what I would put an ebook out on. So let me know how you enjoyed this video though, but that's gonna wrap it up for this video. I do hope you guys have a blessed day. I'm Rage Real, and I'm out.